Welcome back to the People Chronicles. I'm Annarose, and I'm still here with Rayne. And Rayne is telling us about what she wants us to remember is not to create obstacles, or don't create obstacles for yourself that really don't exist. So, in other words, just forge on. The obstacles are there, the natural obstacles are there, and how we're going to deal with them, that's one thing. But to create them for yourself, that's another thing.
Yes.
So, you, like any young entrepreneur, had to start a business on a shoestring. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Okay. And then also about how you became a parent and the obstacles that you could have faced that you refused to consider obstacles and how you got around that. So we're just going to talk a little bit more about that. So, but first I want to talk about the business. Okay. So you have this luxury daycare, doggy daycare. Didn't start out that way. I mean, it started out on a shoestring, right?
We tried to do it luxurious, but yeah, so I'll backtrack a little bit, that we lucked out when we sold our house in Virginia to move to Pennsylvania, that we made out really well in the housing market from Northern Virginia.
Okay, so you have a little bit of cash.
So we had that, we put all that money down on our house, which then we had a line of credit that we were able to use to really put the money in to get the business started.
Okay.
Then we had our smaller loan from the bank to be our working capital to get us going, had our plan all figured out, how many months in it was going to take the business to pay for itself. We opened in October of 2008, which is just as everything was falling apart. That was Lehman Brothers, all that stuff was going on. And actually the last week of September, the first few days of October, I was in Korea to bring our daughter home. And I can remember I tried not to get myself on Korea time because I knew I was coming right back. And I can remember sitting in my hotel room in the middle of the night watching, I forget exactly what the vote was, but Congress was going through to do some vote to salvage for something. And I could see in the corner of the screen the Dow and just watching it drop and drop and drop. And I wasn't even in the same country. Like, there was nothing I could do about it. We had an open house the end of that week, actually, to start our new business. So I was feeling very powerless at that time. So anyway, economy was tanking, so people weren't getting new dogs. They weren't traveling, so they didn't need to board.
So all the product
grooming was a luxury at that point. People weren't paying for.
So all the product that you had to offer now is not saleable. I mean, is less saleable.
Yes, there are fewer people who are in a position to be able to use it.
Okay. Obstacle?
Just had to work harder to find creative ways to get people to know about us and to find a way that they would need us. If you had some kind of emergency at your house and needed to have people come work on something, where's your dog going to be? You don't want to have somebody accidentally leave the door open, or as they're bringing in the new carpet, the dog runs right out the house. So tried to work on all those ways and really tried to establish relationships with all of the local veterinarians. Any new housing places that I could find. They have the model homes. They weren't having a lot of sales either, so they were being creative. We did have one that did a whole dog day at their development, and so we got to be a part of that. And so we all got creative.
Yeah. I think in business we call it opportunity.
Yes, we have many opportunities.
Many opportunities. We just have to look at it differently to change our perspective a little bit on that. Okay, so all right, so all these things come on, and I know that when we talk about obstacles getting in our way, we also talk about risk taking. And I hear what you're saying is that really, in order to make this a really prosperous business, you've had to take a lot of risk.
Yes. So the initial line of credit, we completely maxed it out. I tried to get an additional loan from the bank, and by the time they finally said no, it's not something we're going to be able to do, I had a small retirement account left, so I sold it. It was the second to the lowest day of the market. That's when I sold. But I knew 2.5 months earlier that I needed to sell it, but I was being strung along. So anyway, in the positive spin, I did it. That was enough. I convinced my landlord to let us go rent-free 1 month. And that was just enough to get us going. And about the time the money ran out from my retirement account is about the time that we started to get enough money in. Summer boarding was starting, and the lodge made enough to pay its own bills.
Wow. So how did that feel then?
Amazing. And at home, I was taking no salary. We had pancakes about 5 times a week, sometimes for breakfast, sometimes for dinner. My kids thought they were great. We'd make some bananas. We'd make some applesauce. Like, any way you could make pancakes, we did. It was a cheap way to eat. Mm-hmm. And that's just what we did. No haircuts. No new clothes. we just didn't do it.
Right.
I lost a lot of weight. That was another great bonus. That if I'm a little bit stressed, I'll eat. If I'm so stressed that I'm worried I'm about to lose my house for my whole family, I will lose weight.
There you go. Another opportunity. I think we're going to start a new diet plan here. Okay, so so you're looking at that, like we're saying, with the obstacles, and the risk goes up, and yet you find that the opportunity in that, mostly because it's your passion. I mean, you really know what the goal is, and I think that a lot of the times people haven't defined their goal, and because they can't define their goal, then they can't really define what the obstacles are. And therefore they can't get around them.
Right.
So similarly, when you first opened the business, I know that you were ready to go to your open house, and that's when Korea called, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're ready to open your doors, and then you get a call from halfway around the world and says, "Come over here. We have a gift for you. You must come pick up your package and then return home." Right? Isn't that what happened?
So I flew by myself to Korea. My husband stayed home with our son, and also to help with the final renovations of our building, because he was involved to try to save money. He did most of the wiring and had some guys who helped him, and he traded favors with them. So we tried to do everything we could to keep our budget as low as possible. But so yeah, I got on a plane and came back on October 3rd with our daughter, and on October 4th we had our open house.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what did you do with the children? Now you have 2 kids and you got a brand new business. What do you do with the kids?
Well, our son was...
And no offense, but you have no money to pay for a sitter.
We made it so we kept a little bit in our budget that we were able to pay for daycare for our son. He'd already been going 3 days a week, I think, at that point. So we kept that going. And then he also had some time with Nana, who luckily is local. That's my husband's mom. And then my daughter, if you look at our pictures from the first couple months, you can see her. We're in the East Penn Business Journal. We had the new business venture all to ourselves, that section. And we had multiple pictures. There's my daughter in a baby carrier strapped on me there at work. We have pictures of her in her stroller in the daycare room. We had a pack and play set up in my office. She's been bathed in the dog grooming tub multiple times. We made it work.
Yeah, you make it work. Excellent. What would your advice be for women who may be in a similar situation of yours? Say maybe want to open a business, don't know how to do it, maybe want to have children, aren't able to do it biologically or don't want to do it biologically. What would your advice be for them?
The first thing is to find somebody who's done it and just talk with them. I'm always happy to chat with people and share what I've learned. As far as not having our biological children, I started reaching out online. I found some great forums. Now there's a lot of Facebook groups would be the equivalent, where people going through the same thing, and you get a lot of ideas and just some emotional support. No, you're not the only one doing it, and you can see other people have overcome it. That makes it a lot easier to picture yourself overcoming something.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. Okay, we're going to wrap up.
All right.
What I do want to say, though, is that I appreciate your coming in and telling people
Sure.
the story, because like you say, to reaching out for women to be sharing their stories, I think is truly valuable. Just about every woman on this planet has a story to tell. And so I appreciate your coming in to share your story with us today, Rayne.
Well, thanks for having me.
And thank you.